Hey, folks. Wait. Hey, folks. How you doing out there? False alarm there. Decided to start this video anew. Welcome to another Drink and a Wink. Today we're going to do our second in a series that we're calling I can't stop laughing about this. It's so stupid. Blended Scorcharama. What do you think of that title, Michelle?
It is nuts.
Okay. Coming to you today.
Wacky.
It's wacky. Okay. Got my scarf on, got my hat on, my face is all red because I'm outside for a little while. We're right here in Chicago. We're dealing with like 5-degree weather right now. It might be even lower outside. I'm not really sure, but it's a cold one. So we're dealing with that, trying to keep warm. It's warm in here. I'm just wearing the scarf for the effect, but yeah, it's helping. We're going to talk about some Scotch whiskey. One thing, though, wanted to bring up, a lot of our Facebook friends today and myself, but oddly not Michelle, were forced to follow some people that we didn't care to follow.
Gosh, I wonder why.
I wonder why. It could have been an error. Probably not. It was either Zuckerberg. I'm gonna, that's my new nickname. You know, it's as funny as some of those other nicknames, right? Like some other real good ones. Zuckerberg. It was either his mistake or they got hacked, and we were forced to follow some people we didn't want to. So it had me thinking. I can't right now get off of Facebook. I still share riveting content like this. And then on my personal page, I'm talking about gigs, which everyone pretty much ignores, or complaining about work situations. So I can't give up Facebook now. I'm just looking forward to the riches that everyone will experience. For some of you, I know that now that the shackles of all the other people that were winning are now off of your back, and you can't blame your teachers or the schools you went to or your parents or the people that were being hired instead of you. Now that you have all of you're removed from that, I hope that all you mediocre people are going to be crushing it. I give you about 2 months and then get back to us. Let's see how it's going. Anyway, with that, I'm thinking of moving some things around, so I'm going to create some content. We might be moving more videos to YouTube. I know it's a lesser of two evils, but I'm still going to be here from time to time, but I'm doing that. And the other thing is just for the interest of trying to build up a new platform where we don't have follows forced on us. Who knows if this is going to stick around being anything forever, but in addition to a personal blue sky, I have opened up a Drink and a Wink blue sky. So I will put the link underneath this post, but it's real simple. It's just the @ sign. Drink and AND a wink. Okay, that's the handle over there, Blue Sky. Check it out. I've been I know that kind of caught on right after the election, and then it kind of faded out, and yeah, it might as well give it a new entity to it before it crumbles.
Maybe
Anyway,
TikTok.
What?
Maybe TikTok because they brought it back.
Oh, you brought it back?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought he didn't like it.
No, I got a message when I opened my TikTok that Trump brought TikTok back.
Okay, I have no idea about TikTok. Ticking talk?
TikTok.
TikTok. Just noticing another bulb is going out over there. Anyway,
Wow.
All right, enough about politics.
Mature people are on TikTok now.
Okay,
So, yeah.
join us there, and if you haven't checked out anything on the Drink and a Wink page, YouTube page, I'm going to probably put up a link up around there. I'm just going to be moving some more content to it. You know, the one thing about this is that I can engage a little bit easier, and comments on Facebook aren't quite, on YouTube aren't quite as, engaging. The engagement isn't as engaging. So, we'll see. Enough of that talk, all right? Here you go. Talk about a kind of a mid-pricer. I know this is maybe one that I can still afford. We're going to talk about Monkey Shoulder Blended Malt Whiskey. So, again, we were talking about the Blended Scorcharama is talking about blended scotches, okay? We were trying to be a little cost conscious, also trying to look for, things that we can find we don't have to go to the liquor store. Some of them we will still be kind of a little bit obscure, but just some things that are a little bit easier to find and a little bit easier to afford. We started with Dewar's 21, which wasn't probably the best choice for that because it's not easiest to afford, but was a good example of getting started with Scotch whiskey. When we talk about blended Scotch whiskey, sorry, let's remember that there are really two classifications, okay? The much more common one, the one that you're familiar with, that you're going to see at open bars at a conference or in a boardroom, are blended Scotch whiskeys. Now, when we say that, that means that it could be malted barley, hopefully, unmalted barley, and it could be any any grain that they want to add. It could be corn, it could be rice, it could be really anything that you want. All right. There are rules with the Scotch Whiskey Association for blended Scotch, but you know that you're getting other grains in there. Okay. The kind of oddball classification that a lot of people don't even really realize is when they're holding it is what's called it's called a blended malt. As you can see, it says right there, Monkey Shoulder Blended Malt Scotch whiskey. Okay, and when we see that blended malt, what that means is essentially, one more time to explain this, is that a company is taking 3 or 4 single malt scotches, or it could be 12 for that matter, okay, and they are blending them all together. So if you can think about it, the recipe is single malt Scotch whiskey, which is only malted barley in the recipe. So they're just blending those together. I could make a blended malt right now by just reaching back, not even looking, and grabbing 2 or 3 or 4 or 12 of my Scotch bottles, and I can create a blended malt, okay? That's how it works. There's no other grain in there. It's not to say that's better or worse. There are great, really tasty blended scotches that give you the idea of what the other grains they're using. McLean's Nose is one of them from Arden Markin. They tell you, we got grain in here. It's good grain. Have at it. But then the blended malts could be decent, or be kind of, because it's usually not going to be very old whiskey in that bottle. This one, in my opinion, and in others, is a good, affordable, acceptable blended malt. Now, in the old days, this went by the terminology of vatted malt. I've said that a few times. But this is Monkey Shoulder. So what is Monkey Shoulder? You've probably seen it in maybe even grocery stores. You might see it in bars. Yeah, what is Monkey Shoulder? It's a blended malt, okay? It's got some funny stuff on there, okay? It's bottled at 43%. There's no markings about anything natural on here, but that's fine. And it got some tasting notes, okay? And then you can see, and by here it says imported by William Grant & Son, okay? So what that is telling us when we see that, okay, William Grant & Son is a smaller spirits company in Scotland, okay? And they have a bunch of single malt brands under their, they have 3 or 4, but they have some single malt Scotch brands under their awning, so to speak, okay? It's a corporate awning. Those would be Glenfiddich, which we've all heard about, one of the most popular single malt Scotch whiskies in the world. Balvenie, not as popular, but just as well known. I was just holding one over there. Oh wait, thumb up. Holding one up a little while ago because I didn't realize I have a Balvenie Doublewood stored back there. We have not opened yet, and we're not going to open it until we remove a couple more bottles from the shelf. And finally, the third one that they have is Kninvi. So it would dawn on them. If you haven't heard of Kninvi was actually used in other blended scotches and sold to other companies as mostly stuff for blending. There are quite a few single malt Scotch companies that do that. Actually, there's quite more than we would think, where they sell some of their single malt Scotch off for blending. For instance, Kalila is kind of that fishy, smoky taste that we get in Johnny Walker. They sell the single malt to Johnny Walker, and it's part of the blends in the black and so forth. Anyway, this one is a combination. William Grant says, well, we own these 3 companies. Let's make a blended malt that we can sell a little cheaper, not age so late, and check it out. So that's what this is, a blend of 3 malts, Kninvi, Balvenie, and Glenfiddich. Okay? And, I mean, Michelle, I don't know if you're tasting today, but those tastes are in this, right? Do you want to check? Yeah, Balvenie and Glenfiddich, and then something else, right?
Smells are definitely in it.
Yeah. The other thing to know is we got some nice kind of iconography. See some of these little monkeys up here, and it gives you a little bit of a story, but it's not over the top. What is monkey shoulder? Well, it's not actually something to do with a monkey, okay? Although they do have some of that. What do you think?
Honestly, that's changed for me
Really?
over time.
What do you think?
I like it a little bit more, and definitely just to your point just a minute ago, yeah, like with Balvenie and
You like it more than you did in the past?
a little bit.
Okay. I'll get to that. You're right. A little bit more. The monkey shoulder. Let me get back to that. Wow, I'm all over the place today. So, when way back in the day, when you are working a malting floor, meaning it's this floor where air comes up, hot air, and dries out the malt, could also be filled with peat smoke. There's this spade-like shovel kind of apparatus that you have to do to turn the malt. And when you were doing this all day with this tool, you would get this hunched over shoulder, I guess. So it was a workplace injury, RSI, right? That's called monkey shoulder in the Scotch whiskey business. Luckily, I don't have that. Kind of have something like that. I'm going to call it Steve Gadd shoulder, which is not as bad as monkey shoulder, but when you play traditional grip and your right shoulder is always a little higher than your left, that's what I got. So I got Steve Gadd shoulder. Yeah, even when I think, okay, I'm straight, and you can see that one's a little higher. Anyway. Woo. Okay, let me look at the camera. So that's what we got here. 43%. And on the taste, if you want to add anything to this, or have another snoot, it's good. On the nose, lots of honey. We're getting the barley sugar in there. I'm going to just add just a touch more. Oaky. A little bit of citrus. Yeah. Vanilla is there. There's a little bit of a kind of a dry, husky scent, right? You want to do that one more time? And if you want another taste, that's fine. I'm getting, yeah, what?
Husk.
Yeah, husky scent. And what's kind of funny, well, let me bring that up next. On the taste, tastes the tongue nice and solid. Sweet, but not overly sweet. Now, keep in mind that this is going to be, I don't know, it used to be said that a lot of these whiskeys were 5 to 6 years old in there. Then it's been told that maybe that age statement has gone down a little bit with Monkey Shoulder. So, but we know that if it's single malt Scotch whiskey in here, blended together, they all have to be at least 3 years old. And that's obvious. There is a little bit of an alcohol bite on this at 43% that I wouldn't get. What was I drinking a couple nights ago? Oh, I was drinking Klein 14. I was drinking that a little while back, a couple days ago, just a little bit. And that's bottled at a higher ABV, and it's aged longer, and then doesn't really have an alcohol bite. This has a little bit, right, Michelle?
Sure.
A little bit of a bite on there. Lemon, sunflower, a little bit of zestiness, okay? Honey, the oak is there. On the finish, it gets a little husky and maybe a little bit old wood for my tastes, but that's going to be a lot of blended scotches that aren't aged real long, because they're not going to be aged in like first fill, and there's no sherry influence in this. But it's tasty. And what Michelle was saying, what's funny is we had them last night, and then she's using one to make something over there. We had a couple of, we had some tamales, right? And that husky, the wrap of a tamale, which is just corn silk, right?
What is it?
Or corn, what is that?
Corn
The
maize.
corn maize? Corn maize?
What are you
Doesn't
talking
sound
about the
right.
outside, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's corn husk, I think.
corn husk, yeah. That flavor, if you would taste that by accident, or you had a, like, is in this a little bit, right? We were talking about husk a little bit, that dry kind of. And it's tasty. Now here's the weird part about Monkey Shoulder. Okay, if you go to their website, like I said, I'd be happy with this. Also, by the way, they've changed the bottle a little bit. This is an older bottle, and it looks like we need to be getting a new one. The only thing that's weird about this is they really are pushing the using this as a a mixer for cocktails, for Scotch cocktails. And I remember even once, I think even in a review or somewhere, maybe I even did it on an early review or something. I mentioned, I was like, man, like I know you're using this as a mixer, but really this is like one of the few malted blends in this price range that I can drink neat. I wouldn't do it forever, but I can drink it neat. I can put an ice cube in here and be very happy. When I haven't wanted to break the bank out at a bar or something like that, I'll get this. And I'm happy with it. There's enough flavor there, and somebody wrote back and we'll reconsider it. But I think really what it is they don't want to take away from the portfolio of their single malt scotches and make this into a sipper. I would guess that this would be really good in some cocktails. Though we haven't used this one a lot for cocktails. Here's the one thing of note: Kinenvy, Glenfiddich, Balvenie are not peated whiskeys. Okay, and there is no peat element in there. So some people that like to make Scotch based cocktails, they like a little bit of hint of smoke, and that's why as bad as Johnny Walker Red Label is, okay, there is a little bit of hint of some peat smoke in there. Let's not even use Red Label, even Black Label. There's a good considerable hint of peat coming from Kalila. And if you want that in your cocktail, well, then this isn't going to cut it. If you don't want that and you're just trying to make like a nice highball, this is perfect for that. Or making kind of why am I forgetting what the Scotch. Is it Tom Collins? No, what's the Scotch version of the... We made them all the time. Why am I blanking on it? Tom Collins? What was this?
Or something.
I can't remember. Anyway, if you're doing something and you don't need the smoke in there, this would be great. So yeah, I really like this one. I know a couple of our friends like this. I've given it to a few people. But most importantly, if you're looking for a blended Scotch that you want to experiment with, this will not break the bank, and there's enough quality there. You know that Glenfiddich, Balvenie, and Kinenvy are not putting out garbage products. So that's what it is. If you don't like that blend, well, then you don't like that blend. But we know that this has to be 3 years old or more. And, they're coming at you pretty honestly with this bottling. And it's a little bit higher than Johnny Walker products, which are at 40%. One last thing, the price tag. The price tag right now, this started out in kind of a 30-ish price tag here. Now it's up at $35, but it's often on sale. Matter of fact, if you are in the Illinois, Chicagoland area, and you're like, Scores, I think I'm going to buy a bottle of Monkey Shoulder, you would be able to buy that at Binny's for $27 right now. And now that I'm looking at this bottle, who knows? Maybe that's our next step. So that's it. That's our number 2 in our Blended Scorcharama. That's it. The only other thing I wanted to mention is, talking about this not being smoky, supposedly in Scotland and maybe in some other European markets, maybe Ireland, I'm not really sure, there has been a second bottling of this company called Smoky Monkey. And they must be adding a fourth distillery of some sort to make that, and it might be outside of their portfolio. So they tried that, and there's a peated version of this. And since, like I said, they're blending there, they must have gone outside, because I don't know that William and Grants and Sons has a peated whiskey of note. But anyway, they had a Smoky Monkey. That is, I would love to see that out in the United States market, but I don't know, that ship may have sailed. Check that out. Finally, another trick, if you want to save some money, is I always buy I always have an old bottle of Isla Storm, which is a Trader Joe's product. I don't know who makes that, but it's a peated single malt Scotch. Isla Storm, probably just barely 3 years old. It's all it's pretty good. Maybe it could be Bowmore, it could be some other company, but it's pretty rough. 40%, it's like $20 a bottle. I have that aside because if I want to make this, the peated Monkey Shoulder, I'll just maybe go I'll pour this and maybe I'll add another half teaspoon of that or something like that. I'll just add a little bit in there to give it that smoke, and all of a sudden I have a peated whiskey, and I haven't broken the rule of making a malted blend, because that little Isla Storm, maybe I'll pull it out for next time, is a real good one. I'm having a little bit of an allergy issue, so that's why I'm kind of rubbing my eye, and I shouldn't be rubbing my eye. Right after this, I'm going to settle down. I haven't had problems all day until I came home, so something is getting to me. Maybe it's the scarf, maybe it's the new administration. I'm not quite sure, but here you go. Monkey Shoulder. Good on you. All right, go grab it. I think our next feature, since it's very, very cold, is going to be another malted blend. I think I'm going to try to go with kind of smaller company, then big company, smaller company, big company as we go through Blended Scorcharama. The next one is going to be McNair's Lumreek. Okay, McNair's Lumreek is a product that I believe comes out of close to the Glenallachie distillery. I think they're right next door. It's another malted blend, and that is some of the Lumreek, means kind of your fireplace fire smoke and smell from that, and that's going to be our next one. That one is a smoky. So if you don't like this because there's no smoke, you will like McNair's Lumreek. We're going to talk about the small batch one and the 12-year, which I bought a while back. All right, that's it. Got anything else, Michelle?
Stay safe, take care of each other.
Stay safe and take care of each other.
Yep.
Nothing to laugh at.